Welcome to the No Budget Indie Filmcast, where we dip into the independent film universe to highlight those little films you might not have heard about elsewhere. Will you agree with our panel? Or will our panel agree with each other? Tune in to find out. I am Milo Dennison, and with me, as always, is Claire Milan
Hello.
and Cathal Feeney.
Hello.
All right, Claire, what's on the agenda this week?
So this week we sat down to watch an animation called The Box. It's written, directed, produced, and partly animated by Merv Sirisoglu Couture. And excuse my pronunciation. It is one of the most beautiful animations I've ever watched. It's about a little Syrian boy, and at the start, you can hear fireworks, and he goes into this box and he's in this comfortable home, and there's crayons in the ground and there's a cat, and then he wakes up and he's in a refugee camp, and the box becomes like his shelter, and the cat is with him as well. So the box and the cat kind of continue on his journey, and it shows him struggling and starve with hunger. He comes across, I don't want to spoil it too much, but it kind of shows the journey of a refugee, and there's extremely poignant moments in it. And as the guys know here, I'm a massive cat lover, and when the cats, this little cat.
I think you're going to have to spoil it
I'm
because
sorry, I have to spoil it.
it's such a
Okay.
key moment in the film that it's hard to talk about it and not mention that.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is spoiler alert. There's one beautiful moment that nearly had me in absolute bits. It was in tears. Um,
But don't worry, people, the cat doesn't die.
the
Just so we're
cat
clear, if
doesn't
that's what you're
die.
thinking.
The cat doesn't
does not
die.
die.
You don't know that.
We
Not
don't
true.
know.
I guess maybe after the
We
film.
don't know.
You probably starved to
Um,
death.
Yeah. Mhm.
So the boy, he and the little cat, they come to the sea, and the boy turns the box into a boat, and he gets in the boat, and he looks around, and he wants the cat to come with him, and the cat says kind of no, no, I can't go, and he has to make a decision: does he go and leave the cat, or does he stay? And the cat has this beautiful cry that would just rip your heart to shreds, and you can just see the image of the cat as the boy decides, yes, he has to go alone, and he gets in the boat and he drifts, he goes out to sea, leaving the cat behind. And that just broke me. It was just so stunningly beautiful. And what I love about this film, the transitions in it are absolutely amazing, because at the start with the fireworks, and it's funny because we're just after Halloween here, and there was a lot of fireworks where I'm living in Dublin. And I kind of thought, imagine if I lived in Syria, or imagine if I lived in the Ukraine and hearing these fireworks, because they do sound like bombs or gunshots. And that passed through my head. And then I saw this and I was like, oh my God, that's such a beautiful metaphor, and a horrific metaphor, of the fireworks being then turned into gunshots and little boy being in the refugee camp. And the transitions are just done so smoothly. The different parts of being a refugee, him in the middle of the camp, and then losing his little home and going through a fence like you see behind me, and going approaching the sea, and the struggles. And even another point, there is his parents appear to him, and he looks around, and then they disappear. So I was looking at the comments underneath, and people are saying, is the boy dead at the start? Is he imagining it? Is this, or is the cat is the cat alive and he's dead? And there's all these little people are having conspiracy theories about it. But it leaves such an impression with you. And at the very end, there's some statistics, and they say so 8.4 million, that's 80% of Syrian children are directly affected by the brutal and violent conflict in Syria. 6 million children are displaced from their homes in Syria, and 16,600 unaccompanied children cross the Syrian border. And I think all of us can agree here, like, how lucky are we to be living Ireland and the UK, two massively safe countries, that we don't have to come across this. So we have no idea what it's like to be a refugee and have no home. And there was one beautiful moment as well where it shows another refugee, an older a man, and he's drawing a home in the ground. you know, it's just so sad and so beautiful and so beautifully animated. Yeah, it was very moving, and I don't know if you cried or but I don't know, what do you think of it?
Yeah, I agree. It is there's so much story in a 6 minute film here that tells you so much of the plight of refugees in Syria. You mentioned the Ukraine, like basically any war-torn country, and the war in Syria has been going on for a long time.
Mm.
And of course, you're going to have children that either get separated from their parents because of the conflict, or their parents are killed, and then they're just left with nobody to fend for themselves. And so to tell the story of this little boy who's perfectly happy one night, going to sleep in his little makeshift box with his pet cat, to then wake up and be in a refugee camp, it's absolutely very, very sad to realize that this could or does happen constantly. And it is interesting with the cat at the end, because uh, you're like, well, just pick the damn thing up and take it
I know.
into
That's
the
what I
little
was
boat with
thinking.
you.
Just pick him up.
Yeah,
I can also say this
but
is actually silent, or he doesn't speak. They don't
no,
speak at
not
all.
at
So
all.
that makes it so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh,
Well,
that's
I
the
wouldn't
thing. Yeah,
expect the cat to speak anyway, in
the
fairness.
cat does. The cat meows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I suppose
Um,
in an animation it could, yeah, sorry.
yeah, but the thing is, like, I see the point of leaving the cat. Yeah, you could be like, well, I could have left the cat, but the reality is you get separated in situations, right? So maybe, especially with a cat, right, a cat will run off and hide. A cat's not going to be like this cat where it follows you around. So you have to leave and you have to abandon your pets. We see this in war zones. We see it in the US with hurricanes and stuff like that, where people are separated from their pets thinking, well, I'll be back tomorrow, and it turns out that they're not, and that kind of stuff. So it happens all the time. And so, yeah, he, in this case, he could have picked it up, but the reality is you get that heartbreak from him having to abandon his cat. So you now can empathize with people in these war zones that have to abandon their animals via just being separated for any number of reasons. So yeah, I agree. It's quite a
You know,
beautiful film.
it's interesting. Myself and Milo both have cats. You have a cat, and I have a few cats. And you know, even now, I'm back in County Galway at the moment, and just seeing my beautiful cats playing in the garden before I came on here, and how lovely their lives are. Do you mean the animals? I'm sure your cat is spoiled as well, Milo. So, you know.
Not by
Okay.
me, though, just so we're clear. My
So,
significant other is the one who spoils the cat.
um, so the real victim is the cat.
Yeah.
Uh, well, look, I don't want to trivialize this. I think not the labor, but the labor, the point of the cat. I think it's really used as a plot device, because if you look at the whole film, it's it looks at the war in Syria, and we know how horrific the war is and all wars are, but this is a very sanitized representation of it. Really, you don't see much happening in terms of, like, you see the boy's circumstances changing, and you understand, and they show images, refugee camp, the bombs going off, the crashed airplane, but you don't really see anything like horrific. And I think they use the story of him and the cat to kind of to draw out our emotion, you know. So when he leaves the cat, you know, it kind of tugs at their heartstrings, and you go, oh, that's terrible, you know. And then soon after, in that kind of heightened emotion state, you read about the Syrians, the plight of Syrian children. So, you know, the whole story with the cat is just, I think it's just a device to kind of, you know, bring out our emotions. But it also shows the ability of art to reach us, where, say, you know, a news report, or you know, information doesn't, because it's something, I don't know, something more about immediate about it, about watching something, and you sort of vicariously experience it in some way. Um, it's I mean, if you think about it, if you're watching a TV show and your favorite character, you know, gets killed, like, you're, oh my God, it's terrible. You know, even though it's a fictional character, you're watching it on TV, and you'll feel more for that character than you would, you know, if you know people are dying in their thousands, somewhere. It's you don't know them. It's not a direct. You're not directly impacted emotionally. So this is where a film like this can actually reach you.
Absolutely. And you're with the boy at the start. You're just sucked in immediately. There's no delay. Well, for me anyway. I don't know. Did you shed a tear, Carl? Did you shed a tear?
I don't know about that now. If I had any, I would have. I would have.
Did you do that when you were kids? We used to do that. If you get access to a big box, you'd fold it and make it into some kind of fort or something like
Oh
that. That's
yeah.
such a thing for kids to do.
We used to do it with grass. You know, when they cut the grass, there's a big green out where I used to live, where I grew up, and we'd have grass, and we make grass houses, with the outline of the houses, and all the kids
Wow,
would come out
that's
and play.
so rural Ireland, Claire.
Yeah, I had a private
Do that,
child.
no.
We didn't have boxes where I grew up.
You didn't do that, Carl, when you were a kid?
No, I don't think
Oh man, yeah.
Really?
I mean, I did. We did like. No, I don't think I remember making any out of boxes, but we did sort of
Yeah.
use furniture to create kind of like
Mm.
hideaways and stuff
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
and like blanket forts and
Oh
stuff.
yeah, we
Yeah.
did that as well. It was so cool, wasn't
I don't
it?
think I ever got a present big enough that I had a box that I could fit into. Okay.
It's
Uh,
funny. I got something on Amazon recently, actually delivered to where I work, and I one of the girls took it, and it was literally the size of a table. The whole box. It was like huge and a tiny thing in the middle. So like that kind of
mm,
box. It was so
uh,
embarrassing. It was
I
just
wanted to do that when we moved. We got ordered a couch from IKEA, and so it was
yeah.
delivered. So it had this huge box that the thing was delivered in, and I'm like, I want to make a fort out of this
Oh my
box.
God.
So
It's so
we didn't.
cool.
We recycled it, but it would have been fun. But back to the film. The point of obviously, call like you got it is like by having this child and this cat, we're so much more drawn in to their plight if it were an adult, a lone adult, right? Because we're like, screw adults, whatever. But like everybody feels bad for kids that are neglected. Everybody loves pets. Well, most people love pets. I shouldn't say everybody, but so it does a much better job of drawing us in and getting us to care about this versus if it were just some animated adult going through this experience.
I don't know if you probably know about this photograph. There's a very famous photograph of a young child who's washed up on a beach,
Oh
and
yeah.
I think it's in Turkey, and there's a man just standing there looking at him, and he's the kid is dead, the boy is dead,
Oh God, yeah, yeah.
and as a symbol of the how horrific war is.
Yeah.
That is really that is it really.
It really was. That just it was so horrific to see that. I remember that. I think
Mhm.
Angela Merkel, that was the photograph that prompted her to let more refugees into Germany, I think.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting subject too, because obviously you've got refugees coming from these war zones and stuff like that and going all over the place. And then you have the countries that are like, oh no refugees into our country and stuff like that. And it's like, well, where are they supposed to go? Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
So
it's
desperate.
like, oh, I feel so bad for them having to live in this war zone. I feel bad for kids being separated their parents. Oh, but no, don't send them to my country. No. Send them to another country. I mean, I don't care that much, right? Which is kind of annoying. I just read a book actually on population and refugees and the impacts on population and immigration and stuff. So it's
Well, even in Ireland, I think Killarney, there's like 10,000 population in the town, and there's over 3,000 refugees.
mm,
Yeah, it's
from the Ukraine.
from a mixture of Ukrainians and other
Yeah.
people. But it's such a tough thing because like if you're
Mhm.
like if you have to escape, where do you go if you're that desperate?
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
And of
you
course, thousands of people die in the Mediterranean. You
Yeah,
yeah,
know,
trying to escape. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
exactly.
and and there are regimes
Mhm.
that use refugees to as part of their tactics, if you want to call it that,
Yeah, yeah,
against the West to try and flood the West with refugees
Mm-hmm.
to destabilize society here as well. So uh, uh, is it's pretty terrible the way people are treated like that.
oh,
Yeah, yeah.
terrific. Yeah, especially in the UK and Ireland, but in the UK particularly, there's really horrible stuff happening at the moment over there with refugees.
Yeah, they're really dicks here. I mean, not everybody, obviously, but it is surprising how a bit racist this country is, or xenophobic this country is, and it's quite offensive, actually, at times.
Really?
Actually, not to defend, not to defend the
Mhm.
actions of the UK and the what do they call them? The Home Secretaries over there. But I think a lot of the immigrants are coming from Albania, and there's no reason for them to leave Albania,
Yeah,
really.
yeah, that I can understand. Like if it's like you just want to, it makes sense. But it's just like, I mean, the whole point of Brexit. Well, not the whole point of Brexit. I mean, but a key aspect of Brexit was anti-immigration opinions.
Yeah,
Not illegal immigrant. They're like, well, all these Polish people are coming over here and taking the jobs in our restaurants.
and
How dare
and
they?
and and two of the most virulent like anti-immigration people would have been uh, children of refugees too. Like you
Yeah,
had Priti Patel, who came
yeah.
from Uganda via India, and then Suella Braverman.
Yeah.
I think her parents came from somewhere in Africa as well.
Well,
So
our new PM is of Indian descent.
yeah,
Mm.
that's right.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what his opinion of it is really. I mean, I suppose he served in that government, so he has to share some of the blame. But
yeah. And well,
uh,
he's a member of the Conservative Party.
yeah.
So,
Uh, but back to the film again.
again, we keep getting distracted, or getting off
Well, I don't know
subject.
what else to say. Yeah, I mean, it is
Yeah,
beautifully made, and using children like that because children are children everywhere. Like they haven't grown up, they haven't been taught how to hate yet. So we can sort of empathize more with the innocence of a child,
yeah.
uh, too. So
And
that
you know, this is
gives it.
also a book. This is also, the animation is also part of a children's book because it looks
All
very
right.
like pictures from a book. Do you know, it's so beautifully animated. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a book as well.
Wow. Well, I think you
Yeah.
can go to what's the website? The animatic.com. Is that right?
Animatic, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. animatic.com to find out more about this film.
Mm.
Yeah, normally I would complain about this, by the way. So, officially selected by 240 international film festivals, awarded 44 international prizes. So, you guys know how annoyed I get at films that submit their films to like, hundreds of festivals. In this case, I'm not going to be annoyed by it because it's a great message. And via these festivals, they're getting this message out there. So, in this case, I'm not going to let it annoy me.
Yeah.
I allow it. It's acceptable in this situation.
Okay. Yeah. Uh, so child refugees are okay.
They're okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I guess ratings time then, it sounds like. Nope. Nope. Claire doesn't want us to do ratings.
No.
Beer Town Film Festival, United Kingdom.
Sorry, I have to cut that bit out again.
No worries.
Okay. So yeah, sorry, right.
Yeah. Cathal, you want to go or you want me to go?
Yeah, sure, I'll go first. Yeah. Um, I suppose there's no flaws really in this film, and because of the topic, at the source of it, you're inclined to 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 judge it uh, in a more superior way to maybe to other films. And maybe I don't know if I would or not. It should probably be 5. But I've said before, animations like the standard of animation is just so much higher normally than I think films like dramas. Uh, so I'm judging it against other animations purely on its merits as a uh, film. I'll give it 4 stars.
Yeah. I'm torn on this as well because by all accounts, it should be a 5-star film, but I feel like I want to give it 4 stars. But
Okay.
I think if I give it 4 stars, uh, I don't. Yeah, so I'm gonna go in between. Yeah, I'm gonna do a rare half star and go 4.5 stars.
Okay. So me, it's just beautiful, a little gem of a film, and you can see why it's getting to all those film festivals and winning those awards. And it will make you cry. Even Cahill, it'll make it. I probably did make Cahill cry, even though he doesn't admit it. So I'm going to give it 5 stars.
All right. Well, there you have it. No budget film cast audience. We really enjoyed this film, and it is certainly worth seeing. I mentioned the website that you can go check it out on, and of course, it's on Vimeo and YouTube. Let us know what you think. You can reach us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at No Budget Show, or leave us a comment on this video on YouTube. And until then, we'll see you later. Goodbye.
Bye.
But
Mm,
I don't.
Mhm.